Thank you for joining Wars of the Roses. And this is Records Old, from the Encyclopedia of Freemasonry by Albert G. Mackey. Records Old. The early history of Freemasonry, as written by Anderson, Preston, Smith, Calcott, and writers of that generation, was little more than a collection of fables, so absurd as to excite the smile of every reader or bear statements of incidents without any authority to substantiate their genuineness. The recent writers on the same subject have treated it in a very different manner, and one that gives to the investigation of the early annals of Freemasonry a respectable position in the circle of historic studies. Much of the increased value that is given in the present day to Masonic history is derivable from the fact that, ceasing to repeat the gratuitous statements of the older writers, some of whom have not hesitated to make Adam a Grand Master and Eden the site of a lodge, our students of this day are drawing their conclusions from and establishing their theories on the old records, which Masonic archaeology is in this generation bringing to light. Hence, one of these students, Brother Woodford of England, has said that when we begin to investigate the real facts of Masonic history, not only have we to discard at once much that we have held tenaciously and taught habitually, simply resting on the reiterated assertions of others, but we shall also find that we have to get rid of what, I fear, we must call accumulated rubbish, before we can see clearly how the great edifice of Masonic history, raised at last on sure and good foundations, stands out clearer to the sight and even more honorable to the builders from those needful, if preparatory, labors. Anderson tells us that in the year 1719, at some of the private lodges, several very valuable manuscripts concerning the fraternity, their lodges, regulations, charges, secrets, and usages were too hastily burnt by some scrupulous brothers that those papers might not fall into strange hands. Constitutions, 1738, page 111. In the last century, the archaeologists of Freemasonry have labored very diligently and successfully to disinter from the old lodges, libraries, and museums many of these ancient manuscripts, and much light has thus been thrown upon the early history of Freemasonry. The following is a list of the most important of these old records, which the industry of Masonic antiquaries has brought to light. They are generally called manuscripts, because their originals, for the most part, exist in manuscript rolls, or there is competent evidence that the original manuscripts, although now lost, once existed. There are, however, a few instances in which this evidence is wanting, and the authenticity of the manuscript rests only on probability. Each of them is noted in this work under its respective title. The following are of especial interest. 1. Halliwell or Regius manuscript. 2. Book of the Fraternity of Stonemasons. 3. Paris Regulations. 4. Strasbourg Constitutions. 5. Cook's manuscript. 6. Lansdowne manuscript. 7. Shaw manuscript. 8. St. Clair Charters. 9. Eglinton manuscript. 10. York manuscripts, 6 in number. 11. Grand Lodge manuscript. 12. Sloane manuscripts, 2 in number. 13. Aitchison Haven manuscript. 14. Kilwinning manuscript. 15. Harleian manuscript. 16. Hope manuscript. 17. Alnwick manuscript. 18. Papworth manuscript. 19. Roberts manuscript. 20. Edward III manuscript. 21. St. Albans regulations. 22. Anderson manuscript. 23. Stone manuscripts. 24. Constitutions of Strasbourg. 25. Constitutions of Torgau. 26. Dowland manuscript. 27. Wilson manuscript. 28. Spencer manuscript. 29. Cole manuscript. 30. Plot manuscript. 31. Inigo Jones manuscript. 32. Rawlinson manuscript. 33. Woodford manuscript. 34. Krauss manuscript. 35. Antiquity manuscript. 36. Leland or Locke manuscript. 37. Charter of Cologne. There may be some other manuscript records, especially in France and Germany, not here noticed, but the list above contains the most important of those now known to the fraternity. Some of them have never yet been published, and the collection forms a mass of material absolutely necessary for the proper investigation of Masonic history. Every Freemason who desires to know the true condition of the fraternity during the last 3 or 4 centuries, and who would learn the connection between the stonemasons of the Middle Ages and the free and accepted Masons of the present day, so as perfectly to understand the process by which the institution became changed from an operative art to a speculative science, should attentively read and thoroughly digest these ancient records of the Brotherhood. See also manuscripts old. Thank you for watching, and please don't forget to share, like, subscribe and comment. And if you can, please consider donating to Wars of the Roses. Links to PayPal and Patreon are in the description. Thank you so very much.